Hello Virgo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or a coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Virgo. Let's jump on in and see what you guys have been dealing with. We're going to start with overall energy, looking at this past energy. See what the situation is that you're needing guidance on. What has Virgo been dealing with? Parting ways with metamorphosis. You have been going through a pretty major transformation in your life. And that transformation has caused you to leave some things behind. Maybe it's friendships, jobs, family members, paths, relationships in general. And I feel like there is a big sense of like, a lot of times when we go through transformation in our life, it can sometimes feel like things are falling apart. Like nothing is working out. The ground is just so shaky underneath us. And it can almost feel as if we're making our lives worse. Like I said, like our life is getting worse, but it's not. This is definitely this energy of like clearing your path and clearing your way forward. But I know that it's probably hard to believe that that's the case because when, there's so much up in the air, there's a lot of fear there around how are things going to turn out? Am I going to end up where I want to be? Am I going to be okay in the end? And I feel like it's like, yeah, absolutely you are, but you are still in the middle of a journey. But yeah, I feel like this past energy was about leaving certain things that weren't serving you. Maybe it was your choice. Maybe it wasn't. Either way, I feel like the transformation that is taking place is going to lead you to bigger and better things here. But let's look at what your current energy has here, Virgo. Entrepreneur, you have career transition, boundaries, and source. Interesting. With earth shifts. I feel like your life is shifting in a lot of unexpected ways, and it's taking you to places that at one point you didn't feel was possible. Maybe this is specifically about your career, especially with career and entrepreneur, but I feel like this is more than that. It's almost like reclaiming your worth in a way. It feels like this past energy was maybe this energy of settling or accepting less than what you deserve, and maybe in a lot of ways because you thought you had to. But I feel like the energy that you're in now and what you're shifting is trusting that when you are, standing up for your worth and speaking your truth and being honest about your needs, like, yes, you might lose some things, but every single time that we face rejection or we face failure, obstacles, or challenges, these things are always redirection. And I feel like your life is being redirected into spaces and places that at one point you didn't even realize existed, which is a lot of times why we settle, right? We settle for less because we don't know that there is anything else out there, especially when we're used to a certain level of financial abundance or a certain level of love. Like we think, this is as good as it can get. So we hold on to those things really tightly because we don't think that anything better can come along. But when we break out of those things, the transformation that we're taking on, if we're willing to kind of let go and allow things to shift, it takes us to things that at one point we didn't realize were possible here. So I feel like there's just a lot of things that you're kind of being set up for here that are going to be really unexpected. It feels like this is, unexpected opportunities and abundance and just a lot of really good things. But because you're moving out of your comfort zone here, there's probably a lot of fear associated with this because it's like, I don't know how things are going to turn out. Like, I've never been in this space before. And that's the whole point, right? Like, you haven't experienced the things that you're going to experience because you've never been in the unknown before, or maybe not to this extent. it's, you know, the more that we step into the unknown, even if it's not always our choice, the more that we allow things to unfold in a way that might end up being better than we expect. And that's a lot of what this is about. So what does Virgo need to know moving forward? I love this deck so much, but it is so big. It's so hard to shuffle sometimes. Old soul. You have lived many lifetimes and gained wisdom beyond your years. You know what's interesting about this is I feel like you in a lot of ways were either being forced or were kind of forcing yourself into a box of like a certain life path, certain things that maybe you were like, oh, this is right for me, I think. And it feels like what you're opening up to is possibility and potential that you've carried for a really long time, but you've never fully realized, maybe because like society or expectations outside of you have kind of put you in a certain role, and it kind of feels like you're breaking out of that role. So you have, on top of Old Soul, you have Universal Mind, positive life changes, education with celebration. So this feels like through this, you know, this shift that you're going through, this transformative period, you are learning a lot. And this knowledge that you are acquiring is not actually new knowledge, but it's almost like remembering. It's like remembering who you are, remembering what your potential is, remembering what it is that you really, you know, desire. And it's almost like being willing to go after things that at one point you felt really impossible because of like the box that you were put in some sort of way. So this is big. This isn't just like a transformation in one area of your life. This feels like a soul transformation, a return to self, and watching your life unfold in a way that is way more aligned because of how aligned you are now. So I really like those messages for you, because I think that when things shift, it's easy for us to be like, oh my gosh, it's all working out for the worst, right? Because it's different and it's change, and change is hard. But I don't know. I feel like this is, I mean, you literally have positive life changes. So I feel like this is a good thing. But it's also because of, it's like breaking, like I literally get this image of breaking out of some sort of box. It's like you've been trapped in this box, or like trapped in this, like I keep hearing roll too. Sorry, I have a dog hair in my eye. And it's like you're breaking out of that. Like you're not settling for that. You're like, I'm so much more than this. Like, I'm so much more than this thing that this has made me out to be, and I have so much more potential, and there's so much more to me and to like my purpose than this. So I like it. It kind of feels like a little bit of, and I said reclaiming your worth, but it's even more than that. It's kind of like reclaiming your identity, reclaiming your life. Like it's big. Overall theme of this reading for Virgo. Have faith in your dreams. It's almost like the birth of new dreams, though. Or like dreams that you've always held, but you've never fully allowed, like you've never really given the time and the space to develop. Maybe because you were in a certain box and you're like, well, this dream or this like calling or this thing that I want, like doesn't really align with what this is. But you're breaking out of this so you can have that. And you might not even be fully aware that this is what's happening. Is there anything else here? Hold your vision. Yeah, and then surrender to the divine. So if you have an idea of what, like, especially if this was some sort of new realization of like, oh, this is what I want to do, or I want to write a book, or I want to pursue art, or I want to go back to school. Like, it's like things that have started to arise, like certain ideas and inspiration that might go against the grain of the life that you've been living. Like these things feel very different for you, but very aligned with you. It's different than the version of yourself that you've been holding, but you're shifting into a new version of yourself. So it's almost like opening up to new things here. So maybe the birth of new dreams, like that's kind of what I hear, or like dreams that you're finally holding space for. But let's see. Recent past for Virgo, parting ways with metamorphosis. The Death in reverse. So this is a transformation for sure. There, I feel on your side here, Virgo, is a little bit, and maybe still is, a little bit of resisting some sort of transformation, and maybe even an ending associated with it, which is natural and normal. Like, we don't want to lose things, right? Especially when there's a relationship that means a lot to us, or a job we put a lot of time and effort into. Like, even if these things aren't making us happy, or aren't fulfilling us, or aren't fully aligned with us, of course we're not just going to give up on them. Like, that's not who we are as humans. So I feel like this resistance is natural, but there's also a need to draw your attention to it. Yeah, because then you have the devil. Because these things that you're holding on to, or have been holding on to, you don't realize that this is so much less than what you not just deserve, but you're here to experience and are possible for you. Like, I can kind of think of this in a certain way of, past relationships in my life that didn't work out. I had specifically one in particular where this relationship didn't work out, and I was like, well, that's it. Like, if this, and I chased and I chased and I chased and I tried to get that person back, and I was like, if this doesn't work out, like, that's it. I'm going to be alone forever. I'm going to be settling. Or if I do end up with someone else and that person comes back, like, I'm going to end up with them. Like, I'm going to choose them no matter what. Like, I was like, this is it for me. And then Spirit led me through a lot, but eventually to my relationship with my husband, not that person. And I think back to what I used to think I wanted, and I almost kind of laugh at it. Not in a way of like making fun of myself or anything like that, but just like, I cannot believe that I thought I wanted this thing so bad when the thing that I have now existed the whole time. Like, when the love that I have now and the experience of the relationship that I get to have now, like, this exists, but I thought that that's what I wanted. So it's almost like sometimes God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers, and we think that we really need things to work out a certain way, but them not working out that way actually ends up opening us up to something that we at the time didn't even know existed. Like, we hold on to careers because we think like, oh, I need this to work. But then when we shift into a different role of like being a business owner or getting to pursue art, or I don't know, whatever the case might be, then it's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I could find a path that was fulfilling and also financially freeing. Like, there's so many things that we limit ourselves to because we don't realize what's really possible for us. So it's natural to resist change, and it's natural to resist endings, but Spirit's trying to ask you to trust that these things are shifting to align you with things that are more aligned and fulfilling, to align with things that are more aligned. More fulfilling and hold more potential for your happiness and your, experience of being loved and all the good things. All right. Current energy for Virgo. Because, you have this Ace of Pentacles. It's like there's opportunities that you don't even know exist because you've been holding on to certain things that don't actually align with what you want. It's weird because it's like you think you want these things, or you thought you wanted these things at one time, but your soul actually wants these things, which are so much more, which are like better. Like, that's what this feels like, bigger and better things. But it feels like there's a fear to kind of let go and allow that, which makes sense. I mean, it's a very human thing to do. So there's no need to shame and blame yourself for that. But it does feel like like I said, the rebirth of certain dreams. The King of Cups is an interesting energy for me because it's all about like emotional awareness, but it's not like, sometimes people can be so emotionally aware to like a fault where it's like criticism. That's not what it's about. And I think that that's where sometimes we have to give ourselves space to feel the things that we need to feel, but to also allow ourselves to hold like faith that things are working out better. So right now is a time to pay very close attention to how you're feeling, and to understand that the way that you're feeling is valid, and it is important for you to process everything that's coming up, but it doesn't mean it's truth. Just because things didn't work out in a relationship, that doesn't mean you're going to be alone forever. It can feel like that, and you got to process everything that comes with that. That doesn't mean that that's true, though. Just because you're struggling financially doesn't mean you're not going to have the money to pay the bills. It feels like that. You might have no idea where the next dollar you need is going to come from, but you can trust anyway. Like, right now is a time to not let your emotions dictate your truth, and to maybe even allow yourself to find something to stay grounded in, some sort of truth. Like, for me, I always come back to I'm a good person who carries good intentions, and I'm deserving of good things. So like, even if I make mistakes, even if things aren't working out, like I can always come back to I am deserving of being supported by the universe. I'm deserving of, having my needs met. I'm deserving of, all of the things that I fear, being worked out essentially. And when I come back to that, it allows me to release a lot of the other fear that I carry. So I feel like there's a lot of frustration in your energy because you're like, well, I want to be here now, or I want to be, wherever now. Cause the 6 of Wands in reverse, you're not where you want to be. But what you don't realize is how much is shifting around you. And it's almost like you gotta give the universe some time to align things, to put things into, motion so that things can unfold in the way that's necessary for you. So right now isn't about worrying so much about what's going on around you, but more so about what's going on within you, and finding a way to show up in, faith that things are working out, leaning on your support, in your support of the universe as much as possible, because that's what's going to create the positive life changes, right? You're going through a huge shift, and this shift is changing, yes, your outer world, but it's also changing you in a good way, And I think that the more that you can invest in that shift, and also, because here's the thing, you don't want to replace what this was with something that's the same, right? You don't just want more of the same because you don't want to end up back in the same place. So it's about opening your heart and your mind to opportunities that might look a little bit different, right? And almost like getting back in tune with dreams and goals that maybe you've put on the back burner. Maybe that's another thing too. It's like this maybe took up so much of your time and your energy that you put a lot of things that, need to be prioritized. Maybe it's mental health, maybe it's physical health, maybe it's art, I don't know, but it feels like now is a time to focus on those things too. Like the things that you either have given up on or you set to the side, you're like, oh, I'll get to that later, but then you never got to. Like, I feel like that's what this period is about. So I don't know. I think that a lot, it's like opening up. It's like you're opening up space. That's what this is about. Opening up space to pursue more aligned things. What does Virgo need to know moving forward? Because these things never fit who you really are in the first place. I feel like deep down you know that. But maybe there's a part of you that thought you could never have anything better. And remember, not everything you think and you feel is truth. They're important. Your emotions and your thoughts are valid, and you can process them all you need, but you can't believe everything you think and feel, because that your feelings and your thoughts are merely an indication of how your brain is currently processing your environment. It doesn't necessarily give you an indication of what's true or not. So finding something to ground yourself in, I think, will be important for you too. What does Virgo need to know moving forward? There you are. There's a new beginning. Whether you're so it's the Queen of Pentacles, but whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. I feel like this is just, because there's the Queen of Swords with the World. This is open heart, open mind. You are closing out a pretty major cycle in your life, but there's a part of you that's still really pulled to that cycle. And I think that that's what this is about is, you can't move on to different things if you still crave the same, right? If you still crave the same habits and the same chaos and the same dynamics, like you can't create better. So the more that we can heal and address what's going on within us so that we make different decisions, because if we don't make different decisions, we're going to experience the same things. So you're moving into a new beginning in your life, but this new beginning is going to come because you are open to things being different. That's what this is about, being open to things being different, but trusting that different is good. And I think that that's where you're struggling right now, is it's like, if it's not this, it's not going to be as good, but this is actually better. Like, this is bigger and better things. You have the Chariot here, you have the Lovers, like this is moving on to things that are more aligned with what you deserve and what's possible for you. It's just that you don't realize what you deserve and what's possible for you. And that's where you're struggling. That's why you're like, no, it has to be like this, because you're like, no. The universe is like, no, you don't get it. Like there's all of this wonderful, magical, beautiful, all these things that you can experience, but you're holding on so tightly to this, which is keeping you from this. It's kind of like, this is kind of a silly example, but you're holding on to like some ice cream and you're like, I don't want to let go of this ice cream. I really want to eat this ice cream. And the universe is like, no, but we've got like this ginormous sundae for you. Like, that's what I think, like a little kid. It's like a little kid that's like, but I want to eat my ice cream. It's like, but what if we've got something better for you? So we're going to take this away and we're going to give you this. And then the kid's like, oh, this is so much better. It's like, that's what this feels like. But you're in the process of getting that ice cream taken away from you and going, what the hell can be better than that, right? So I get it for sure, but I also feel like Spirit is saying, no, the love you desire is so much more than what you were settling for. Like, the financial freedom you deserve doesn't have to come at a cost of your mental and physical health. Like, all of these things that are unfolding are you understanding that you essentially can have more than you think, that you can experience more than you think, that you deserve peace and freedom and abundance and love and all of these things more than you think you do. So yeah, this literally feels like opening up to bigger and better things, but it's hard to believe that things can get bigger and better than what you've been holding on to. So, all right, Virgo, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into these messages, ultimately looking at what you can do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Any information for that, again, is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Virgo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Virgo.